Linda and tell her a little bit about you and the job that you do, both in general and today.
Well, I'm Sergeant at Arms, and I used to always set up for the room, put everything out for it. And I try to
Yeah, here's here.
once in a while. And today what is it? What's my job today?
Well, you're at least
to be
timer.
the timer today, and I also will be doing table topics today. So I just have, and I've enjoyed Toastmasters. I think I joined in 2005.
Okay, thank you, Virginia.
Thank you.
And Officer Allen, would you introduce yourself to Linda as well?
Hi Linda, my name is Alan Roops. I've been a member of Glendive Toastmasters for 8 years, started in 2006. I have held several of the office positions, Office of Education. I've also been the secretary, and I'm currently the treasurer of Glendive Toastmasters. And today I am going to be one of the evaluate Jim's speech, and I just have a plethora of many thanks to be able to belong to this wonderful group of people. And I can honestly say that as far as my personal growth, I think joining Toastmasters has been the most obvious avenue that I've used to hopefully better be able to express myself in a verbal manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Melody Keller is not giving a speech today, so let her introduce herself, and who we lovingly refer to as the newest Toastmaster, as they are here today, the youngest as well.
I'm Melody Keller. I am a naturopathic doctor, and my practice is up in Fairview. I come down to Glendive about once a month. I joined Toastmasters a year ago.
A little bit more than a year. Yeah,
It was October.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I guess I'm coming up on 2 years now. How time flies. And I've been really enjoying it. I finished my Competent Communicators Manual and have yet to get a good jump start on the advanced manuals, but it's on my list of things to do. And this is Vivian. She's 9 months old. Born last December.
Yeah, and working on her speaking skills already.
Prefers to be the center of attention whenever possible.
Excellent, excellent, and we love that. Donna will be sad that she had to go to Billings at the last minute. Yeah, yeah. So, my former student and now friend, Swella, is going to go ahead and give us a speech from the first manual. I don't know which one she's doing, or is it something for the second speech in the Competent Communicator Manual. And either Melody or I will go ahead and be her evaluator, depending on who feels like they can best handle the task. And so if you come on up and tell us a little bit before you do your speech, tell Linda, particularly our area governor, about your job and your life now, and then introduce your speech, and we'll start timing you right after the introduction of your speech.
Sure.
Okay, great. And bring your manual too, so that we can write it up if you have your manual, or we can do a generic. Okay.
So a little bit about me. My name is Suela, and I am originally from Albania. I currently work at Dawson Community College as the Enrollment Management Coordinator there. And 2 weeks ago, I just started my master's for University of Nebraska in Public Administration. So I am very overwhelmingly busy. I have 2 homeworks due by tonight. I have a party to attend this evening. I don't know when I'm going to get everything done, but I will. In my spare time, I like to read and travel. I love Montana. I've been here for 6 years on and off, and I actually just heard of Melody Keller a few weeks ago. My sister came for a visit.
Oh, okay.
So it's very nice to meet you in person now. Okay, I'm ready to get started with my speech.
Okay, very good. Do you need a formal introduction?
I don't know. I wrote something down.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. I'll just stay right here with me. One of the funnest things, I knew that we made the transition from professor to student when I was up there at the college and there was a faculty meeting, and this young lady runs out of the crowd and ambushes me with a big hug. So that's why I can now introduce Suella to you as my friend. So indeed, she works at the community college as enrollment management coordinator, and has indeed started her master's in public administration. And her sister is now a freshman in college and studying nutrition. So in her spare time, Suella likes to read and travel, and she's going to give us the speech, I believe, on organizing. Your thoughts?
Yes.
Very good.
I understood my speech would be, I could write it on whatever I wanted, however, I had to organize my thoughts.
Correct.
Okay, good.
All right.
Just to make sure.
Very good. Are we on the same page? And ready to roll?
Yes.
Very good. Go for it.
Okay. I'm ready. We become what we see. That's how one of my greatest professors started to lecture on my international business course. Just a few weeks after that lecture, we traveled to a foreign land called Belgium to live and study for a few weeks. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of traveling as a personal development tool. I will explain what traveling is. I will give a definition of traveling, why it is important, and who can travel. So, according to Webster's dictionary, the definition for travel is to go on a trip or journey, to go to a place, and especially one that is far away, to go through or over that place during a trip or the journey, to move from one place to another. A few weeks ago, I was discussing traveling with a friend of mine, and she mentioned that she has been to Mexico. However, she was at a Holiday Inn and never got out of that resort. Well, that is not traveling. That is going on a holiday. So my own definition for traveling is becoming a citizen of another nation for a short period of time. And this is the story that I share with my friends and the definition that I share with my friends whenever I interact with them in traveling discussions. So why is traveling so important? Research actually shows that people who travel are more empathetic than those who don't, because those who travel can put themselves in the shoes of the others. Traveling is so important because you get to see and meet people, like cool people like me, for example. And traveling forces you to rely on other people and make new friends. You will get to see things that you before have never had the opportunity to see. I studied in Belgium, as I said, and I visited I don't remember the last name, but John's Hospital, and it is the oldest hospital in Europe. It was built in 600, and it was beautiful to see. I had never experienced something so cool as that one. You will get to see things that you've never had the chance to see otherwise. You will learn a lot about yourself and the people you are traveling with. When I was in Belgium, I traveled with 15 other students, and I learned who were the people who had my back and who were the ones who did not have my back. You will get to make stories and memories that later on you can talk about. And especially you get to experience new food. For example, everybody knows Belgian waffles or has heard of Belgian waffles. When we go to other countries, I would recommend to not go in fancy restaurants because you can find anything that is offered in a fancy restaurant here as well. Steak, baked potato. However, the street food is the best one. And the Belgian waffle from that corner street shop, mom and pop shop, that was only €1 was worth spending my time and eating it because it was amazing. So who can travel? Well, anyone and everyone who has the desire to travel can do that. And I'd like to share with you a story of a very good family friend of mine who is actually from Glendale, Montana. He had the opportunity a few years back to work his summers at Glacier National Park with international students. And after those years passed, he decided to visit a few of the students at 55 years old. He went on his first trip to China, outside of the United States. And then the next year he went to Europe. And then the next year he went to Africa. And now he considers himself a world traveler. He went and saw his students. He went in their shoes, experienced their food, and got to make memories with them at their countries. How much importance do you put to professional development? I'm sure at some point in time you have had a job or you are retired now. However, your bosses and supervisors talk about professional development and how important it is to refocus yourself and find out how your peers are dealing with the same tasks as you are, but in other institutions. Well, traveling would work the same way because it is personal development. You get to see how people are dealing with everyday life issues in other countries. In conclusion, I'd like to recap what we discussed today. We talked about the definition of traveling. We talked about why traveling is important and who can travel. I hope you go places from now on.
Thank you, Sue Ellen. Paula has agreed also to be an evaluator, so I'm gonna ask her to evaluate Mark's speeches as well, if Mark has a book to give her. If not, I've got a generic form.
Yeah, generic form will be best.
Okay, that'll be good. So we'll give her a minute as I introduce Mark, and maybe we'll just recycle this one.
Yeah, who's gonna evaluate my seat? Swallow will. Oh, okay.
So
All right.
our next speaker is a Glendive native, and he asks for our patience because he has written this speech in first and second person, I and you, because the title of the speech is Movements of Conversation. Won't you welcome Mark Nelson as he gives his 5 to 7 minute speech.
Thank you, Mark. When a youth becomes an adult, he reveals that his knowledge of right and wrong goes further than just table manners. How many times have people said, excuse me, that manners in the working class are unimportant and insignificant? What I'm trying to say is that when an adult has a relatively addiction-free behavior, he has raised his life to a higher level. Communication is much better at this level. I have raised my level of life in Toastmasters since being a young, addictive man. The following movements of conversation I discovered myself over the last 15 years. And I am now using these conversational movements in my Toastmaster speeches. I would like you to observe my eye contact with individual members during this speech. Some things that polite company do is when the one speaking in a group of three looks at the second person and while looking refers to something that the second person can identify with. Then the first party looks at the third person and refers to something he or she can identify with in your speech. The above two paragraphs include conversational movements from my three-person group discovery. And eye contact during a Toastmaster speech, applying information from a phrase or sentence in your speech. The principles of visual aids are the same for both groups. The three-party conversation or at a speech at Toastmasters. This type of conversation makes the second and third parties feel like they are welcome and not left out. These movements of conversation increase communication, which is essential in some social situations, especially to the first speaker. The Toastmaster manual says to refer to a visual aids when giving a speech. This can be done by looking at objects or people in the room. However, when your speech is on a videotape recording, your job is to focus on the camera and your notes only, not on objects in the room or people in the room. Give specific information from your speech by looking at a specific club member whom is like that specific information. My discovery of three-party conversations, I feel, can be used as a visual aid. The Toastmasters manual says to know your audience and will they identify with your speech. Less notes makes more time for visual aid contacts. To review the above paragraphs, match up a phrase from your speech by looking at one club member at a time, but not for too long, because this will make them self-conscious. Thank you for your time and good day. Thank you
very
Pete.
much.
Yeah.
So while you vote for best speaker and send those down toward Virginia's station, I will go ahead and fill in this timer while she goes ahead and leads us in table topics. My challenge to y'all is to speak exactly for 1 minute as I time you as you do the table topics. And everyone on this side of the room except for me is eligible. So you've got 4 potential speakers, although I'm not sure Vivian will go the whole minute.
She might. If I'm talking the whole minute, she might try.
Usually 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes. Yep. Put my time on it.
Table topics. Thought maybe I should write out my own questions.
Will you come up this way and lead us or go to the people so I can sit at the timer position and
Sure.
relinquish the lectern to you? And you may have control of the meeting.
No. Here, let's choose one of these, Linda.
Thank you, Virginia. Table topics. Sergeant of Arms. Are you ready for Linda? Okay, I am too.
Linda's ready too.
Okay.
You can stand here if you want to, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Madam Table Topics presenter, my table topic is, in your opinion, what is the best piece of music ever written? I am not a big person of composing authors, that kind of thing. If I like a piece of music, I like a piece of music. It doesn't necessarily matter who does it. At the moment, they have one out that's just kind of a fun song that Brad Paisley has out. And it talks about the kids of the 50s and 60s and how they were, when they got out of school, they went home and they made out on couches and they watched TV and all of these things, and geez, there was nothing wrong with it. They weren't hot water with anybody. And then another part of it, it says how daughter has a new boyfriend daddy doesn't like. Fits right in with my nephew. Madam Table Topics presenter.
Okay. Let's you choose one too.
Madam Table Topics person, my question is, if you were to die tomorrow, what would you want people to remember you for most of all? I've tried to live my life based on one simple theory or idea, and that is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Sometimes that thought or that attitude is not always at the top of my thinking, but for the most part, I try to think of other people, be kind and considerate of their feelings, and my actions toward them should be the way that I would like to be treated. And so that is probably the one thing that I would like everybody to remember, that I was respectful of all everybody's opinions, and I tried to treat them as I would want to be treated. Thank you.
Stand or sit?
I can stand up, Christine. Alright. Madam Toastmaster,
Yes.
my question. In your opinion, what is the most significant event that has occurred in world history during the last 1,000 years? I can define significant however I wish. Well, there's a lot of significant things that have happened, but being as today is the anniversary of a majorly significant one in American history, I think September 11th and the events that took place on that is one of the most significant things that's ever happened in my lifetime. I was hearing a song on the radio, Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning? It made me think back to that morning and where I was and what I was thinking, and the fact that it was 13 years ago, and I'm going to have to explain to Vivian what that even meant and what that is, and just how it's changed America. The fact that you go to the airport and you can't just walk through, you can't watch a plane leave anymore. Everything is under so much security, more government departments just doing their jobs. It's been interesting. Not to mention the shift of focus that America went through. It changed overnight with those two towers that collapsed. A lot more than just the people there, the wars that it's caused and all the things. I think it's been incredibly significant, and it's good to stop and think of that.
Thank you very much.
No, that's yours, for you.
Oh,
Thank you, Virginia. Thank you very much.
you're very welcome.
ever a coincidence, is there? Hardly ever. Whether we design the topics for the speakers or whether we take them by chance, they all go for good. So at this time, it's time for our evaluators to give their reports, and I believe Alan has Jim's, and so we'll call on him. And please remember during the lulls to send your votes down to Virginia for best table topic. Alan?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I was tasked to give an evaluation of Jim's icebreaker speech. It's kind of difficult to give an evaluation of an icebreaker speech, being the fact that Jim is already such an excellent speaker. But there were some things there that I thought were important. I like the fact that you gave a speech that had some wonderful details about your life. I really like that. I liked how you were clearly audible and could hear you very well. I thought you had good eye contact, even though you might not have necessarily needed that. I liked that a lot. If there was one thing that I would suggest maybe not being so dependent on is your notes. Jim, you know your life better than anybody else. You've lived it all these years. And I don't think that notes were necessarily needed for your speech, even though I'm sure in an icebreaker they probably say that it's all right, but it was kind of difficult for me to hear of your life and knowing that you know more about your life than anybody else and using those. I thought that was a little distracting, at least for me. All in all, I think you did a good job. I appreciate hearing of your life story and all of the important parts of that, and I know a little bit more about you than I did not know before, so appreciate that.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Now, is this the best time for Vivian for you to do this melody?
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, she's likes to talk along with everybody.
That's
else.
really good. That's good. You may sit.
Okay, well, this is it. So I really enjoyed your speech. I love hearing about travel. I think it was really well put together. Your speech was very well organized and really flowed nicely from one topic to the other. Or I'm sorry, one thought to the next. There was one time where I thought it was a little bit of a sudden shift towards the end of your speech, but it's if after the first sentence or two it really started flowing better. So that was good, and I don't quite recall the exact phrasing that you used there, but I thought that was really good. It made me feel like I wish I could travel some more. I've only ever managed it once and thought it would be a wonderful thing to do more of and hope to someday. I think your conclusion was really good. I like how you wrapped up with reminding us of the main points that you had made and just kind of walking us back through to remind us of all of that. And I think it was very well done, very well organized, good transitions, good eye contact, and use of your notes was totally appropriate. I think you didn't rely on them too much. I think you were just able to really stand up there and you seemed really confident in knowing what you were doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Melody. And
Commentating on everybody's speech.
that is very good. So are you ready to give Mark's evaluation, please?
Yeah.
Mark, I've really enjoyed your speech. This is not the first time I've heard you speak, but I think this has been the best speech you have ever given. I really enjoyed your eye contact. You still need a little bit more work on relying on the notes. I think you didn't have to rely as much, but you had great eye contact. I would like if you change a little bit your pitch when you would like to focus on certain subjects. I like the flow of the speech. It went good from one context to the next, and I really enjoyed the conclusion as well. And you were funny, and I really liked it. So thank you.
Thank you. So votes for best evaluator down to Virginia. And I'm just gonna ask Virginia this way, were all the times within limits? Okay, very good, so that'll be good, and you have them written down for Jim's minutes? You have the times written down, so Jim can go ahead and put those into his minutes, would be good. And so we're getting a little bit short on time, let me go ahead and now ask Alan for his report, please.
Thank you, Pete. In the past, I've been tasked to be the WAG person. WAG is the acronym for Word of the Day, Awe Counter, and Grammarian. And I've really struggled to not use filler words whenever I talk, and so when I'm giving the WAG report, I am kind of self-conscious that I am maybe mentioning people's filler words, and I am probably one of the worst offenders of that habit, but here goes anyway. Word of the day was plethora. Jim used it once. Pete used it a plethora of times, or 3, and just because I said plethora 3 times for me, so anyway. Countered the filler words. I had at least 3 ahs. I recognized an and for me. Jim had 4 ahs. Swilla had 6 ums and 3 ahs. Linda had 1 and she had several incomplete thoughts like that's and says and with Jim when he was talking, he was gonna say I was, and then he kind of off in another direction. I don't remember just what direction he went, but it wasn't where you were headed in the first place. That was one of the grammarian issues that were presented today. That concludes my WAG report.
Thank you very much, Alan. For Linda's benefit, I should mention that I hold the club records in ahs, ums, and filler words at 24, as transcribed a few years ago by Virginia. So Alan has yet to even come close on his worst day. So with that, let's have the tally for the best speaker, please.
Oh. See where I had it. Oh. Well, is the best.
Oh, congratulations. Second speech and already a winner. You bet. And then the best table topics, please.
Best table topics we have is melody.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Something more for Vivian to chew on.
Yeah.
That's appropriate at this age. As someone who teaches developmental psychology, this is perfectly acceptable behavior. And last but not least, best evaluator, please, Virginia.
Well, let's see if I can find it here.
Okay, we'll give you a moment. Maybe this would be a good time while you're finishing that up to ask Linda to give her general evaluation of the meeting, and then we'll get back to best evaluator. Linda?
You want me up there?
That'd be wonderful, would you please? Linda Wolf, area executive.
As a general evaluator, the purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate the entire meeting and see how the evaluations flow. It also makes you watch to see how, if everything is covered in the meetings that is supposed to be covered. As far as the business meeting, we had a quick little blurb as to the prior business meeting to bring everyone up to date on current, to make you current. Table topic sessions was interesting. I think everyone did well. Individual evaluators, nice evaluations. And I thought Pete did a nice job for Toastmaster of the Day. And the grammarian and odd counters report, Alan, good job there. And I'll have to watch that in complete sentences. And the word master of the day, I couldn't come up with something with a plethora of anything today, so anyhow. And Virginia, do you have the best evaluator now?
The best
Or,
evaluator
yeah, not evaluators, what you were doing.
would be Melody.
All right.
All right. You bet. And at this time, that concludes my general advisory.
Thank you very much. While you're here, anything you'd like to say as area governor before we adjourn?
I'd like to visit with either you or Jim for a few minutes afterwards,
Okay.
but the division contest is in Bozeman. It is on October 11th, and the district contest is in Missoula, and it is October 24th and 25th. It's a long ways across the state. And they are working very hard to try to make sure that it's a very enjoyable conference. And they've got several fun things going, some real different things than what I've seen before, so. And they'll have a top-notch speaker this time because Darren McCoy is their speaker. So if nothing else, it would be fabulous to go and listen to his speeches.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on board and being with us. I believe that concludes our meeting. Thank you all for coming and giving us a plethora of information and also entertainment. And thank you especially for Vivian for being with us and participating so readily. So with that, we are excused.
Realized I forgot my pacifier at the office.
That's okay. My granddaughter loves the watch, but it's been cleaned since. So.
No, she chews on Dad's watch all the time.
Alan, are you accepting payments on dues?
I am accepting payments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I am.
Would you rather have cash or a check?
Doesn't make any difference. It all.
If I give you cash, you give me a receipt?
Not right now. I don't have
Okay,
a
then
receipt.
I'll write the check.
That
Yeah,
works
okay.
too. That works.
Yep.
Do I write it to, what's that, do I write it?
Glenda, I hear
Yeah.
More about it. Linda needs me, so
Yeah, it's Postmaster's number
We'll catch up.
our group is
Okay, very
9941.
good.
I think our club number is.
9941. Okay. I'm gonna leave these here.
Okay.
TM.
And she's crawling around and pulling herself up, she's gonna be walking before
She
she
will.
turns one.
Be another minute.
Yeah, she can pull herself using the chairs almost all the way around the dining room table, but there's enough chairs. I'm trying to teach her to moderate, but at 9 months old, it just.
Oh, I believe you.
I'm like, yeah,
Hey, thanks, sir.
that might happen when she understands
I
me a
thought
little
that
better.
was so amazing when she would stop instantly, but I would do that.
Yeah. Good job, that works. Yeah, cause it doesn't work for me. I try.
I get to hit you with this.
Well,
Thank you, Alan.
yeah, I guess so.
Okay,
Yeah? Did you want a hug?
here
No.
Well, we don't see each other so much anymore,
I've been in town, but.
so we have to, make our hugs count,
I've been
Yeah.
seeing way too many people at a time.
Well, that's what you should do when you're here.
Here, you wanna get down for a minute?
Did you understand much about my speech, Virginia?
I thought it was okay. I don't always,
Well, I would say
my memory goes down so low, I don't remember
was,
lots and lots of things.
yeah, Say, Jim,
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, were you able to understand my speech very well, or?
You lost me a couple times.
I understand, I understand. Yeah, it was that kind of.
Oh, I still have Suela's